And starting at center for the San Antonio Spurs, Victor Wembanyama. Might happen.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. My apologies for the late recap, but you guys said do it, Rich. I'm like, I love this team. I want to talk about them. We got to take the positive and the negative, positive. And it was a rough week. We went winless again, 0-4. We're going to talk about it. While I'm doing so, drop a comment down below. What did you like about last week? I'm sure there's some good things, what you didn't like. And yeah, let me know. Hit that thumbs up, like, support the channel, subscribe for more Spurs content. Let's just get into it. Time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Real quick, Spurs fans, I just don't have the time to do the plays of the week anymore. So for me to be able to do these recaps, I had to cut that. We'll still do the player of the week and the runner-up player of the week, but the plays of the week just had to go. That being said, we went 0-4 last week. We played the Lakers 3 times, lost to them 3 times. They fought hard last night, but just a depleted roster because of injuries, fouling outs, the people's elbow, whatever it is. They just couldn't quite pull it off. But I'm glad they showed a lot of fight last night. I was worried that the team, as this losing continues, that they wouldn't show fight, and they did. And that's all I want to see from the Spurs. I want to see growth. I want to see them playing hard and compete. And a lot of these games haven't been competitive, so hopefully they turn that around. They're 6-15 right now. That's 14th in the Western Conference. Looks like we're on a straight path to a top 4 lottery pick. It's going to be a great draft next year. So just play hard. We get the lottery pick, so be it. A special ugly, though, to our three-point shooting Spurs fans for last week. I got to call it out. Look at our starting lineup. Minus Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, 25%. Trey Jones, 21%. Keldon Johnson, 16% from beyond the arc last week. 1, you're not going to win games because you're missing shots left and right and not getting any points. But 2, that's got to be killing our floor spacing. And 3, actually saw teams dare Jeremy Sohan to take some shots last week. To his credit, he's starting to hit some of those mid-range jumpers. But the three-point shooting last week was just, I got to feel like that's an anomaly of a week, and we'll bounce back in our next few games. Anyway, let's get into the players themselves. Jakob Poeltl, the big man in the middle, he was injured last night. Ironically, Spurs fans, I didn't see the game, but I read he was injured dunking the ball, something I always tell him to do. I believe it was a dunk in transition, so sure enough, he dunks the ball and gets hurt. So you know what? I'm never saying that again, Jakob. My apologies. I did you bad there. That being said, overall, he had a decent week. He only played 20 minutes per game because of the limited action last night versus the Lakers. Shot a high percentage, was rebounding very well, passing the ball well overall. Did his Jakob-y things. Would like to see the turnovers come down a little bit, but I could say that about the entire team as they've been very turnover prone for pretty much the whole season. Jeremy, you don't mess with the Sohan. Also went out injured last night with apparently a calf injury. I thought this was a good week for Jeremy. I mentioned that he's starting to make more shots, the short mid-range jumpers. He's got to start making those shots to keep defenses honest, and at least he's doing that. His three-point shooting is not there yet. His free throw shooting is abysmal, 29%. It's a work in progress, but I see growth, and that's all we can ask. Hopefully his injury is not going to keep him out an extended period of time. I'm going to see this team later this week. I'm hoping Jakob and Jeremy are both ready to go. That's just, as a selfish Spurs fan, I want to see them play. This is hard to talk about. Keldon's my favorite player, and he is in such a absolute funk right now. Just really struggling with his shot. Last week in 4 games, he shot under 28% from the field. He mentioned 16% from the arc. The shots just aren't going in. He even got benched, I believe, in the Lakers loss. It was either the second Lakers loss or the Pelicans game. One of the two. I don't remember. He got pulled out with right 2 minutes into the third quarter. I want to say it's the Pelicans game, but he is in a rough spot right now, but it's not the time to say, hey, trade him or stick him on the bench. He's going to have to play through it, and that's part of being a young player. When your shot is not going in, you got to have the confidence to keep taking them, and he showed more energy last night, so hopefully this is just a blip on what I do think is going to be a wonderful career with the San Antonio Spurs. He's in a funk. Eventually he'll come out of it. Maybe having today off and tomorrow off. When do we play again? Do we play again not till Wednesday? Do they have 3 days off, Spurs fans? I'm trying to remember the schedule. Are they off today, tomorrow, and Tuesday? So this time off, the team will need it. Get Jakob, Jeremy, and the other guys healthy. Keldon will be fine, but he's struggling. The struggle's real. Devin Vassell. Devin, good week, creating those shots, making 3-pointers. I like the rebound and assist numbers. He was our leading scorer at 20.3 points per game, but don't really have any complaints about his game last week. Yeah, he missed some shots here and there. That's going to happen. But overall, Devin Vassell's game has been really really growing throughout the season, and I like what I'm seeing. Last but not least, and this is one that I still see Spurs fans torn on, is Trey Jones. Is he our point guard of the future? The game he had last night makes me go, heck yeah, he was phenomenal. Then I have other games where I scratch my head and I'm like, he's not the guy. So I don't know if the Spurs were to draft second next year and Scoot Henderson's there at number 2. I got to think that he would then be our point guard of the future and Trey would be back to more of a bench role. Overall, minus the 3-point shooting, I thought he had a good week. 15 points, 8 assists. If he can maintain that throughout the season, I think we'll be better. But I do feel defenses have maybe figured us out a little bit, and that's been part of the struggle where, and just the floor, just there's a number of things, the turnovers, the floor spacing, the poor shooting. There's so many things I really can't pinpoint it, but it's been a tough stretch. And as a Spurs fan, I'll admit, when we got off to that 5-2 start, my hopes got up. I'm like, holy crap, the team is here much quicker than expected. Maybe we'll compete this year. And since that 5-2 start, we're 1-13 with 1 win in November. And if we don't win Friday versus OKC, which is a winnable game, or what Wednesday OKC, Friday Pelicans. So we have one more game in November. Oh my goodness! All right, so OKC, and that's it. Anyway, moving right along to the bench. Doug McDermott, Dougie, great week for us. Granted, is that free throw percentage 0? Right? Did I mess that up? Let TSR. You know, I'm usually pretty good about these stats. Wow, guess he missed all his free throws, but shot a very high percentage from the field. Was hitting the 3-pointers. Yeah, he doesn't give us a ton much other than scoring, but that's what he's here for, to score, and he did that very well, giving us almost 15 points per game. Romeo Langford, the offense, it's not quite there, but defensively, I thought he did pretty well. He was on LeBron from what I read last night and did a good job. And LeBron went off for 39. He still was putting a great effort out there. And I forgot to mention, Jeremy Sohan helped cause LeBron James to have 9 turnovers in that 105-94 loss. So props to guarding the king. But Romeo, I don't know where he fits into this roster yet. Is he a long-term player? We can't afford to have another guy on the floor that can't shoot. We already have plenty of those right now. With our guys struggling, we're very limited on guys who can make buckets. If you look at the shooting percentages, really the only consistent scorers that were shooters, not including Jakob or Zach, were Devin Vassell and Doug McDermott, with the rest of the roster really struggling here and there. Roby obviously has a 30. Anyway, Zach Collins makes his return, played 2 games. He played okay. He had good week considering how much time he missed. I did read he gave Russell Westbrook the people's elbow last night and got ejected. So, there's that. That's up to you if you want to call that elbow good, bad, or ugly. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to give an opinion on that. So, Zach, welcome back. KBD injured his ankle. He's out. He was having his usual decent KBD week. I mean, yeah, he was missing some shots, but he's been such a good role player for us, and I hope he's not going to be out for an extended period of time. But when he went down with an ankle injury, it looked kind of bad. And right now we're dealing with a lot of guys with injuries here and there, which is depleting our roster, which for those of you that aren't Team Tank, that's going to only push us more towards that. Last but not least, Isaiah Roby, a.k.a. Isaiah Slobey, he's finding a spot in the rotation. So he's not going to be Isaiah Slobey anymore. He'll be back to Isaiah Roby, hitting the 3. Another guy that's not hitting his free throws for whatever reason, but he's finally found a niche and a spot in this roster, getting about 15 minutes per game. So I'm glad that he started off the season looking like, oh, this is a bust of a pickup, but he's looking like a better pickup lately. Other players that are not up on the board here, Charles Bassimania looks like he has lost his spot, and Bassimania is no longer running wild. Just have to look at his minutes for last week, Spurs fans. 21, 12, and about 2 and 2. I don't think he's going to get any more playing time. He had a few good moments, but there's a lot of things he needs to work on in his game. But he's very young. And who knows, if he stays with the Spurs organization or the Austin Spurs or a combination of both, maybe he could be a very valuable asset in a year or two. But there's a lot of work to be done in his game. Gorgie Zhang played 2 games. He's a depth at center. Nothing more, nothing less at this point. He's not in our long-term plans. No disrespect, but he's a player over 30. Malachi Branham got some minutes last week. Played 3 games, averaged about 12 minutes a game, and at the end of the week looked like his game, maybe confidence is starting to come around and started hitting some shots against the Lakers. So hopefully he can take that into this week where we might need to be calling on him a lot more with so much of our roster injured. Speaking of injuries, Blake Wesley's still out. I don't know when he's going to be back. So there is that. My runner-up Spur of the week, and I don't have his picture here. I just realized that. So you know what? I'm leaving in Spence. Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Who is the runner-up player of the week? I'm really making you guys wait for this. I got to get to the Spurs. I don't know what this is going to look like when I click on him, but my runner-up player of the week is Doug. I didn't realize I had Doug there. So Doug, my apologies. Doug McDermott, runner-up player of the week, was excellent off the bench. and just hitting some big shots for us where a lot of the team was struggling to hit shots. He was making them. So, Doug, congratulations on the runner player of the week. But my player and spur of the week is going to be Devin Vassell. I like what I'm seeing out of Devin. Was pretty consistent throughout the week. Was our top scorer. Was also one of actually was second on the team in assists. Was also playing some good defense here and there. So overall, Devin Vassell, I thought I had a good weekend. I think moving forward, we should see, hopefully, as it was start of the season, a ping pong back and forth between players of the week between Devin Vassell and between Keldon Johnson. Keldon's in a rut right now. I think he got a rating of ugly last week from me, and I don't want to. I hate having to say that about any of our players. It's a process, and I get it. You guys have talked about in the comments on my last video from yesterday about us playing poorly like Rich. It's part, it's what they have to go through. Don't be down on it, but you have to understand. I'm very competitive. For those of you that don't know me and are still watching this, and I hate to lose. And when I hate to lose, I hate to see my teams lose. And seeing the Spurs just regress so much in November, and the Giants now taking a step back, and they, to their credit, they're missing a lot of their offense, but they're still fighting. And the Spurs, what are we 1-12, 1-13 in November? I love the team, and I hate seeing our guys lose like this. And I know in the long run, this is probably going to be for the better with players learning to go through this. And if they can't handle the stress of losing, then they're not going to let the stress of a big time shot. You got to be able to handle both. So this hopefully is a good growing and learning process for them. And it'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward with all these injuries. I hope our guys aren't going to be out for a long time because we got OKC coming up, I believe, on Wednesday night. I will be calling that game. And then they play the Pelicans Friday. If you look in the crowd, Spurs fans, about 9 rows behind the Spurs bench, that's where I'm going to be. Just as a heads up, and then I'll be there for the Suns game. No, I'm waiting 9 rows for the Suns game. I don't have my Pelicans ticket yet. I'm waiting in the last minute. But I'll be somewhere. I'll let you guys know where you can look for me, and hopefully you see a lot of this. A lot of this. Anyway, that's all I got. Sorry if things weren't as crisp as they usually are with these. I had a lot of plans this morning, so admittedly it's a little bit rushed. My apologies again that I'm not going to be doing the plays of the week anymore. And that literally added another hour of time to doing these. And with life right now is like, you know what? I want to keep doing them, even though views are down because the team's, disappointing. I like doing them. I like seeing how our guys did. I like pulling stats, and I know a lot of you, especially you diehard Spurs fans, really want to see how we did and enjoy these two. So appreciate you here. If you really want to support the channel, just hit the thumbs up on videos like this because I do think Spurs content is going to suffer, not only for myself, but all Spurs content creators. With the team losing, people might lose interest. But I'll still be here. And if you're watching to this point, you're definitely still here too. And I thank you for that. So that's all I got. Until next time. And as always, go Spurs, go!